So what kind of led to the end of your stay in WCW?
Well, there was a couple things happened. I stepped away briefly for a couple weeks in the middle of a seven month period. It was Starrcade '99 in DC. It was Brett and Goldberg, and that was with Piper as ref, and that's when Brett got kicked.
Oh, right.
And the next night, I think we were in Salisbury, Maryland at Wycomico, and that was the bring back the NWO night. And that was when Bill had the gimmick spark plug and tried to put his hand through the limo, and that didn't work out so well.
Right, through the window, right?
So I was just like, what is going on here? This is not terribly safe. And then the following week, I was like, what? And then the following week, I think we were, Nitro was at the Houston Astrodome, and it was one of those very cold nights in Houston. We're in the back, the Astrodome, for people who haven't been there, in the back, it's super wide transit lanes inside the building for semis and stuff to move around. And it got cold enough that there was black ice. And one of the segments called for Brett, who had a pretty bad concussion, to, I think, peel away in a Lincoln Continental and it started to spin out of control in the back of the Astrodome. And at that point, we wrapped up the show, and I went to JJ and I said, JJ, I'd love to stay, but this isn't terribly safe. Something really bad is going to happen here, and I don't know if I want to be around for it. Because, things had already happened that year. Stunts going wrong is not something I wanted on my resume.
And that was already after Owen had his accident.
Yeah, that was early. That was in the summer, and we had already been to a side note. We had been to Kansas City in late September, and that was the match we did, Chris and Brett.
Brett, yeah.
And the three segments and bringing Harley in, and I mean that was us. That was me and Nash and Sullivan doing that. So,
as far as booking that,
yeah.
Oh wow. That could be probably Brett's best match in WCW, and probably the best segment from that era of WCW for sure.
Yeah, I thought so as well. And then within 2 weeks, it was Vince and Ed were in. So yeah, that was a big change.
When you say that was you and Kevin and Sullivan, you and Nash and Sullivan that did that, was this you guys getting on the phone and saying, hey, why don't we do this? Or how did that match kind of come to be?
Well, when we all saw Kansas City on the schedule, it was, hard not to think about something, hard not to think about, the tragedy with Owen.
What do we
do? And what can we do? And, we thought that would be a classy way to showcase some professional wrestling in the face of everything that had happened earlier in the year. We even talked about doing things like trying to come back in black and white with Harley, and then going to color after the ring announcements. Just like, that's cool. Little things that would make a difference to make it stand out from everything else that was happening. But yeah, anyway, so Astrodome, Brett, Black Ice, I go home, and then I was away for a couple weeks, and then I got a call and they said, well, Vince Russo went home. I was like, oh, what happened? He said, they said, well, he didn't want to work with the rest of the committee, and there's everything's up in the air. We're going to give Sullivan the book. Do you want to come back and help? And I said, if we turn it down a little bit, yeah, no more crazy life-threatening stunts. So I came back. I got brought back for the sold out pay-per-view. I think that was a Sunday. I got flown into Cincinnati, maybe. Mm-hmm. For the booking meeting, and or Saturday night for the booking meeting, they still didn't know what to do because, Russo had left, and, Brett was down, Bill was down, people were dropping fast, and it was like, what do? We don't have a champ. We don't have anything. I said, why don't we go back to Chris and Sid?
Oh, wow.
Because they're the two guys that are at the top. And I said, and maybe this is the time we got to take a chance on Chris.
And that's exactly kind of what they did, right? Yeah.
I think it fell, and that was in the room with Sullivan and Taylor and Graham and Nash and Bill Bush and JJ, and everybody said, okay, let's try it. So the next night we did the 20 plus minutes with Chris going over Sid clean, except with the little bit of the foot outside in case we had to get out of it. I mean, do you remember the finish of that? It was the crossface, and Sid had a foot halfway under the ropes, but we didn't see it.
Yes.
So I didn't know that was planted at the time, and I didn't know why it was planted. I guess it made sense a couple days later. And that was stuff that was stuff I didn't know. And that when that stuff happened the next day, that crushed me personally. I'm like,
and this is, of course, when there was whatever illicit threats were made against Chris, and then Chris and Eddie and Dean and Perry were all basically able to walk right out straight onto Raw, which still blows my mind to this day that happened.
You and me both. I was sick to my stomach. I mean, I'm just sitting there looking at JJ going, Chris, we gave Chris the belt. Why is this happening? He goes, I don't know, but it's happening. And Bill Bush said, let them go. I said, can we not let them go up there? Can you just send them over to Japan? Give Chris the belt, go over to Japan, say they left the company. Say they're upset.